This tutorial will show you how to install Model 8920 cellular loggers. GEOKON provides most of the items required for installation as standard accessories with the hardware. Additional items that are required include mounting hardware and material to create a suitable earth ground for each device. These items can be purchased from GEOKON if desired. To install the antenna, remove the rubber cap from the antenna mount, position the antenna on the mount, and then rotate it clockwise until it is finger tight. Be careful not to cross-thread the antenna. The rubber O-ring on the bottom of the antenna must sit flat against the enclosure to seal out moisture. The mounting bracket makes it easy to mount cellular loggers onto a wall using bolts or screws, or onto a pole using hose clamps or U-bolts. The logger must be mounted vertically, with the antenna pointing up. For optimum performance, the loggers should be mounted as high off the ground as possible, with plenty of clear space around the antenna. A minimum mounting height of 6 feet is recommended. The direction of tilt for both axes of the tilt meter is shown by the diagram on the cover of the unit. Each axis of the tilt meter has a calibrated range of plus or minus 30 degrees, based on a starting position of 0 degrees. Properly grounding the loggers will lessen the chance of them being damaged by nearby lightning strikes or other large transient voltages. Cellular loggers can be grounded by connecting a suitable earth ground to the mounting bracket. Multi-channel loggers can also be grounded via the copper ground lug on the bottom of the enclosure. GEOKON recommends using a 6-foot copper grounding rod with 12 AUG or larger copper wire. Use the provided Phillips screwdriver to loosen the cover screws by turning them counterclockwise. Then remove the cover. Record the serial number of the logger and of the sensor the logger will be reading. This information is needed when commissioning the logger on the GEOKON API portal. To connect the sensor, loosen the cable gland nut and remove the white plastic dowel. Slide the cable through the cable gland and the cable gland nut and into the interior of the logger. Wire each conductor of the cable into the terminal block by pressing down on an orange tab, inserting the bare end of the conductor, and then releasing the orange tab. Cable conductors are wired as shown. Do not allow the bare portion of the leads to touch each other during or after wiring, as this may cause a short circuit. Trim long leads if necessary to ensure there is no chance of a short. After wiring the conductors, gently pull on each one to make sure it is securely connected to the terminal block. Next, tighten the cable gland nut until it firmly grips the outer jacket of the cable. The cable gland nut must be properly tightened to prevent water entry. Avoid over-tightening the nut, which may damage the plastic threads of the cable gland. Lastly, gently pull on the cable to make sure that it is held in place by the cable gland. For multi-channel loggers, sensor cables should be wired into the channels in sequence from left to right, starting with channel 1. Wire sensors into the terminal blocks marked VW only. Do not wire sensors into the blocks marked 485 in or 485 out. Both multi-channel and addressable loggers will stop trying to read an empty channel after 2 attempts. When this happens, the logger will check the channels at the top of every hour. An immediate retry can be initiated by resetting the logger. Plug the provided AC adapter or other external power supply into the power jack on the exterior of the enclosure. Next, move the power switch to the correct position based on the area where the cellular logger will be used. Please note that all cellular loggers must have an external power source. GEOKON can provide solar panels and other power supplies as needed. Contact us for more information. Verify the logger has established communications with the cellular network by pressing the status button. If the red LED flashes, wait a few minutes and then try again. If the logger cannot establish communications with the cellular network, refer to the provided instruction manual for troubleshooting information. Place the supplied desiccant packs inside the enclosure. Before installing the cover, make sure the gasket on the underside of the cover and the mating ridge on the enclosure are clean and that the gasket is properly seated inside the groove. Place the cover on the enclosure, making sure that it is oriented correctly. Tighten the cover screws a little at a time, working in a diagonal pattern. Make sure the cover closes tightly and evenly. Complete the installation before commissioning the logger. Loggers are commissioned online using the GEOKON API portal. Open a web browser and navigate to api.geokon.com. For help using the API portal, watch the tutorial available on geokon.com. The hardware portion of the installation is now complete. For more information on installing and using GeoNet cellular loggers, refer to the provided instruction manual or check out the other tutorials available at geokon.com.